are here.
Na 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 Harbaugh.
Well, it should be just called JH to the third power, dude. I mean, we got 3 JHs at the head of this team now. Let's go.
That's right. That's right.
Let's go.
Well, and again, we got the old Batman and Robins right here, dude. I'll tell you what. Hey guys, what do you think in the chat? These guys are going to be absolutely sick. I think this is a great team. And man, we're going to talk about the coaching staff. Like, there's a lot going on, a lot of good things coming through. Navarro Bowman was just signed this morning, or actually, I guess it was last night, kind of is when it broke. But it seemed like today was like the day it was actually announced. So, guys, it's exciting, man. I mean, it's a good time to be a Charger fan. Who's got better than us?
Nobody. And even Jim Harbaugh was on Sports Center last night talking about this is the best start he's had to a job that he's ever had.
Yeah,
that speaks volumes right now. So
I'd love to be able to hear that. He's getting his guys too. That's the thing, right? He's got the people around him that he needs. And there's one also that I think Justin Herbert had a little say in, and we're going to talk more about that as well too. So plenty to talk about, guys. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
I'm Deion Henley. You watching the Boat Bros podcast? Let's do it!
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
So we got Batman and Robin right here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I feel like I'm about to be at a disco or something, dude.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Because it's a party out here, man.
I'm roller skating. It's like roller skating in a roller rink, dude. Going backwards, dude.
I love it, dude. I love it. Yes. Yeah. And again, it's awesome to see what's happening. And didn't Phil Rivers come out and say something like he predicted we were going to have like a 10-7 record? I'm like, I don't know, Phil. I think we're going to do better than that, bro. Like we got all the talent, man. I don't know.
So you know what? Me and Phil Rivers got the same mindset right now. We got the same wavelength. So I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm with the GOAT right now. So yeah.
Well, and the thing that's interesting about thinking 10-7 is the record next year, you're going to probably get in the playoffs with 10-7. So that's
sure
the goal, right? To regular season, just get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, we're going to have a lot of shifting around with this team. So it's going to be a different team, but Jim Harbaugh could easily get you to a 14-3 season. Easily get you to a 14-3.
Right. So now, I'm just I think like myself and Phillip Rivers, I think we're just trying to manage our expectations a little bit. It's like
a little bit.
We just don't want to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go 14-3. And then, when we don't get that, we let down, So, that's just it. So,
well, and it's even to say, like last year, where I was like, worst case 9-8, best case, 11-6 or something like that. Well, that didn't go well. That did not go well. So,
I picked 12-5 last year. We were 5-12.
Yeah,
oh my god,
you got it right. You were just your dyslexia was kicking in, dude. That's what
that reminds me of my exactly. There we go. That reminds me of my stock picks. Oh snap!
Boy,
all my stock picks go the opposite direction. Snap, bro.
Shoot, that's the worst. That's the worst feeling.
Yeah. But again, guys, I mean, it's going to be awesome. And we're going to talk quite a bit about the whole gate situation. My God, guys. I mean,
ridiculous.
I blows me away. Me away that happened. But the news of the day is this man right here, Navarro Bowman, is hired. Kind of excited to see this. Again, he knows Harbaugh. I think he was doing analytics or something like that. Wasn't he doing an analytics somewhere in college, I believe?
Yeah, he was working for a college team. I'm trying to remember. For some reason, I keep thinking Delaware for some reason.
No. It was Maryland, I think. Let's see.
Maryland, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, dude. Pull it up.
Yeah, so he's, again, here's the thing. You got Deion Henley. Dude, and guys, we all know Deion Henley just was not used last year at all, which is super frustrating.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how he, gets his crew going, but they're going to be nasty, man. They're going to be the nasty boys.
Yeah. Nasty
Nasty
boys.
boys.
Nasty boys are going to play that song all the time. Nasty boys.
Nasty boys.
Nasty boys. That's hilarious.
You crazy fool. You crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it looks like so Navarro Bowman was with Maryland. He was a defensive analyst for Maryland. So the big thing about it is you're bringing a guy that was in the system with Jim Harbaugh. Like,
yep.
He understands how Harbaugh works. Like, I love to be able to see players that played for him come over as a coach. That's great. Like, I've been saying for a long time, like, the Chargers really need to dig in their past and to be able to get those guys that are after their career and done, find a way to get them involved in the team. Dude, I think Jim Harbaugh is really trying to set that tone a little bit with this team.
But how sick would that be if that was like Antonio Gates? Make him the tight end.
Right. Like, why don't we get LaDainian Thomas as a running back coach? Like, come on. Like,
well,
what's going on here?
Gates and Tomlinson are essentially special consultants for the team, so they are part of it. So I mean, I'm sure that they're not really doing coaching. I think they're more for like the business side of Chargers, I think. So,
and we're special consultants to the Chargers as well.
Yes,
too.
we are. Yeah.
Cool.
And we put a lot of suggestions out there. You need to sign Jim Harbaugh. We need to get more physical.
Make it happen. Right. What's up?
And you need to spend money, Spanos. And guess what? They're listening to us. So we are tapped in, guys. We are tapped in.
Yes, that's right. We got the little the Tweety bird in their ear. It's like
that's right. That's right. We are there. We are in.
We are influencer boys and girls. That's what we are. We are influencers. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, I was walking around Scottsdale, aka Scottsdale, the other day. Boy, there's a bunch of Instagram models up there. It's a different place, dude.
It's right.
He is like a LA up there, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, good sound effect. Good timing on that. Yeah, but let's talk about Gates for a second, guys. I tell you what, dude.
Unbelievable.
Oh, dude, man.
What the a-holes, bro? Come on now. Guys, how
Bush
how
League
kicked off were you all when you heard he was not inducted? I was pissed. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. What do you guys think in the chat? I mean, I couldn't even believe that happened.
Yeah, that kind of set me off a little bit for most of the day. Yeah, I was just like, man, that's lame. That's super whack. Why? What? Like he said in an interview, he was like, well, what did they do wrong? As a natural reaction to it. And it's just like, I mean, obviously, he didn't do anything wrong, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It didn't make sense.
The one thing that I saw somebody point out was like, well, okay, they could talk about when he had the PED suspension and everything like that. Sure, like maybe it's just they want a pristine like resume in a sense. Like, maybe that's the only thing I could think of. Now, once again, he's going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yep. Maybe at some point,
sure.
Maybe at some point, what if they end up bringing him in with Phillip Rivers? Like,
same time? That'd be cool. Okay.
That would make sense.
That would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
That's the other idea that I'm looking at and if you look at the 24 Hall of Fame pro class, it's Dwight Freeney, Andre Johnson, Randy Grandsher, Patrick Willis, Steve McMichael, Devin Hester, and Julius Peppers. Like, it's a good class, but a lot of people are like, dude, Antonio Gates did not get in there. Like, that's crazy. So
it makes no sense.
I do think it's really what it's going to break down to is it would be cool if you just get Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates at the same time. Like, I think that would be killer. I think that'd be killer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I could kind of see that, I guess.
I would accept that for sure. But let's be honest though too. Is like, is as much as Phillip Rivers has done for us, like, I guess I'm going to ask the tough question. Is he really a Hall of Fame quarterback though?
Yeah, I think so. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, how many starts he had and all that stuff, like, I think he is too, but I'm just like, it just all depends on what class he's going to go up against, so
let's we could actually dig into that if you want to. We could dig into that. And actually, I think next year will be his first year eligibility too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that is really just a plan. Is that obviously at the same time? If that's his first year eligibility, then they're both going to go at the same time.
So like next year there is ads popped up there. Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly.
Well, Eli's probably going to go in.
He's got a nice collection of bolo ties, that's for sure.
That's right.
Marshawn Lynch, Terrell Suggs, Darren Sproles.
He brought Dad Gummit back in. Yeah, right here, Kevin. Yeah, he brought Dad Gummit back into.
That's right. Dad Gummit.
Dad Gummit.
Joe Staley, Aqib Talib, Demarius Thomas, who passed away, obviously. Clay Matthews, Ryan Khalil. Well, they might actually, and Antonio Gates is going to be obviously back then. So maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't time for Phillip Rivers to be able to be in there. I thought it was 5 years. I think it's been 5 years.
Maybe it's only been 4 because but again, you're right though. The thing about I think my frustration with Gates, going back to Gates, is that dude, he just like Dennis says here, he transformed the game completely. For tight end.
Yeah, an undrafted guy that wasn't even a football player.
He was a basketball player, like transitioning from that to like to the NFL, and became like the all-time passing leader for tight end position. Come on, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Sure, he doesn't have any trophies or anything like that himself, but I don't know. It's dumb.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Dan Marino. Like Dan Marino,
right?
And he's a Hall of Famer, right? Like,
right.
Yep.
I mean, you look at like what Phillip Rivers did in his career. I mean, the guy was an absolute rock as a player. Like, the guy was an absolute stud. Like 63,440 yards, 421 touchdowns, 209 picks.
Yeah.
Like the guy was an absolute rock. I mean, he basically played, from 2006 to 2020, he played every game, every single game. Like, and I mean, even to say when we were in the AFC Championship, he had 2 blown out knees out there still trying to make it happen, dude. Like,
right.
I mean, it's incredible, man. I mean, Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. I mean, if you're basically, I mean, I know people are saying Phillip's not a Hall of Famer. I think that's a ridiculous statement, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's completely my opinion. He is an absolute rock as a quarterback. Can you say Dan Marino's not a Hall of Famer? Because he is a Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, but that's also the thing too, though. I think Dan Marino set a whole bunch of NFL records at the time too, and I think that's also why he got in as well. It's like, I mean, he was like the fastest at that time to 10,000 yards, fastest to 100 touchdowns or something. Like, so at the time,
let's make the argument about Justin Herbert. He had the best 4 years of any quarterback ever in the NFL. Like, what if his career ended now? Probably not a Hall of Famer, but what if he never wins a Super Bowl? Does he deserve it? So I mean, there's just a lot of arguments about that, right?
Of course.
Look, I mean, you're kind of splitting hairs to some degree too, but it's all so heavily biased, right? We're biased because we like Phil Rivers, right? I got a couple of Rivers jerseys, I got a couple of Gates jerseys, right? So, there's a lot to be said about it. What do you guys think in the chat?
For sure,
Gates and then also Phil Rivers. Do you think they are Hall of Famers? I know quite a few people have said it, but I want to hear what you guys think in the chat.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah,
so I mean, you could even say like Dan Fouts. I mean, he's another guy who's, obviously Charger, Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham. Right. You could throw out a lot of names out there that are Hall of Famers.
Well, that's
they didn't win one.
But again, that's Dan Fouts though too. Is like he also broke a whole lot of NFL records. I think it was like most consistent games over like 400 yards or something like that. He's in fact he still has some records that are unbroken in the NFL. So I mean those type of achievements are, I think, maybe things that they look at, so but
it's also the first ballot too, right? Then you think, okay, well, who's next? It's okay, well, we'll get him in next year or whatever,
Sure.
So I'm sure there's a lot of thinking that way.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird too, is that they got Devin Hester in as opposed to Antonio Gates. I mean, I think Devin Hester, he didn't even have like the longest return for a touchdown. Like maybe he had the most or something,
Sure.
I mean, that guy was an absolute lightning in bottle. Yeah. I mean, that guy was an absolute stud for kick return side of things. Like that guy was a menace. I mean, one of the best ever. That's the thing about him.
And I guess that's true too, because having him back there, it made teams second guess how they were going to punt the ball.
Yep. Or they will even try to punt him at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why, because they're like, oh wait, well it's Devin Hester's back there for the return. Let's just like shank it, like, or let's
shank it,
squib it. Yeah, all that stuff. So I guess that is something there,
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, so anyway, it's a little interesting little news, we've seen with Happy Feet, Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to be said about that. Oh, there we go, Antoine. All right, Anthony needs
yeah.
Well, and it was an interesting thing, and if we're going to talk a little bit about Phillip Rivers, like I already had a buddy years ago talk about, hey, I don't think Phillip Rivers is ever going to win a Super Bowl just because he can't keep his calmness to him.
Yeah,
and he allows himself to get way too emotionally involved in the game, which is obviously every player is emotionally involved at some level.
For sure.
But there's a lot more like heatedness that he gets involved. I mean, even to say, Slide being up here with Joey Bosa, think about what happened in the playoff game. He lost his, nerves and basically started throwing his helmet around, ended up getting some flags, all these different things. That's the whole thing that Phillip Rivers was, but he is a Hall of Famer through and through, like through and through a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot that he brought to the game too. Like he changed the game quite a bit, so we'll see how it plays out. I mean, obviously Gates will be in there at some point, but the rumor is it's Mac and Bosa, I think they're probably on the trading block, we'll see how that plays out. I'm very curious. What was the rumor about Bosa recently? James, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So, and what do you guys think in the chat as well? Bosa and Mac, who should be traded? Who should be kept? What do you think?
I think the rumor is that the Falcons are going to trade for Joey Bosa for a bag of chips. I'm almost at that trade. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were talking about some scenarios here too. I mean, both of these players are on the trading block, and they've basically have said that already. I mean, there's already that idea based upon Radio Row and everything like that you kind of get a little bit of idea of what GMs are thinking, what head coaches are thinking, and so. The idea of it is that Khalil Mack will get traded or Joey Bosa or both. Now, they said Joey Bosa potentially could go to the Dallas Cowboys. I've heard that the Falcons might want to pick up, Khalil Mack. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Telesco finds a way to get him to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, either one of these players, to be honest. Like, I could totally see that. I mean, pair him up with Max Crosby. You think of how beastly that line could be with those two guys?
That would be
scary. Now, once again, Raiders are the toilet bowl of the AFC West at this point because I mean, you don't win games at this point in the season, at least for the teams that are not playing anymore. But that would be just a very, very tough line to manage at that point if they had one of these two. Now, once again, Joey Bosa has been a hard situation. We all know that, how bad he is as just staying healthy. Like, that's his issue. Mac had a beastly season last year, and it would be kind of a full circle for him to come back to the Raiders, if that's a possibility. So I don't know what compensation we'd get, but the bigger part of it is we just need to find a way to get salary shed somewhere or another. So, and I think maybe this week I might do that salary cap video, just throwing out kind of some ideas of where we could, clear up salary cap and how we could even utilize even some of the
you guys want to see that in the chat. You want to see James do that video on the salary cap. And this is a good question by Dennis Young. Is Mac a Hall of Famer? What do you guys think in the chat? I think
over 100 sacks. I mean, the guy's a pretty stout dude all around. I mean, if you go ahead and say, look at some of the Hall of Famers that got in this year. I mean, who was the other guy that was ended up getting in? That was Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Freeney was amazing.
Dwight Freeney is a phenomenal player, and we kind of tried to say that he was a Charger, but he was really more of a Colt than anything.
See, and then I think a second or third round pick would be good. Who knows if we get that for him though? I mean, he's had so many damn injuries. That's his biggest problem, But look at Mac.
Right.
Mac was amazing last season.
Yep.
So
Dwight Freeney had about 125 sacks in his carear. So I mean,
nice.
He
had like a really long career too. His career was like 20. Not 20, 16 years or something like that. It was a really long career.
Yeah, he had 2002 to 2017. Whew, that's a long time, dude. As an end.
Our boy Aether's here. Let's go.
Let's go.
Trade Mac to the Lions.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's saying he's trying to bring the heat, so it's all good.
Yeah, watch out, dude. Here you go, Kyle. You about to get that heat.
Yeah,
get that heat. You better get heated up. You better get heated up.
I made him mad. Yep.
Kevin
Mad.
brought up the thing about Mac to the Lions. I heard the same thing for Bosa to the Lions too. So there's a lot of rumors that are going on here. I feel very strongly if we're going to get once again, it would be nice to be able to find a way to get a back end first round pick for one of these guys. But if you think about it, if Lions have a back end first round pick and they say, hey, I'd much rather take a guy that I know versus a guy that I have to take a chance on in the draft. I mean, pick 27, 28, whatever it is. Hey, I'll take a chance on a flyer on that guy. So, some of these teams might want that. And for the Lions to get either of those players, it would fit very well for them.
Oof, be crazy. And yes, we did sign Navarro Bowman as our linebacker coach. Yeah, so that was done today.
Yep.
Or at least fully announced, I would say. I mean, Mac with Lions. Look, I think we should extend Mac somehow. I think trade Bosa away, get whatever we can get for him, but I think we should keep Mac. and then Joe Alt, man, I like him as well too. Guys, we got to get a running game going, right? With Roman coming in, I highly think that might happen. And I was watching a lot of people talk about Bowers. He's not the best blocker. I mean, he is a good blocker as a tight end, but you get a Joe Alt there. You're protecting your crown jewel, and that's Justin Herbert, right? You got to keep freaking animals like Max Crosby off of our boy Justin. So,
well, that's the thing, too. Joe Alt is a left tackle, so I mean, are they gonna switch him to the? If they got him, will they switch him to the right tackle?
Well, you got to wonder if you'd want to do that, right? That's actually why they do those combine drills where they go left, right, and they're checking the ability for them to rotate.
Right.
So.
Want to see if he actually would be a fit on the right side because we really need help on the right side,
Well, that's the thing. That's where my idea is that you put Jamari Sawyer on the right tackle, and he did great as a left tackle. And I mean, the big knock on him is that he had shorter arms, so just put him over in the right tackle, and then you don't have to draft that. I mean, if you really, I actually push back a little bit on Brock Bowers on his blocking skills. I mean, he has a video dedicated to his blocking skills.
Yeah.
Right, he is freaking a road grader. Like he is burying people.
Yeah, here's Aether's heat right here.
Oh, that's some heat. Okay. He says, but man, maybe you want you my baby, but I am mad at you. I want to start with 10-7. My ass. Coach Harbaugh playing this bullshit game, my bro.
Hey, we chatted a little bit about this.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's what
we started this whole thing about that. He said the same things, 10-7. So it's like you got beef with me, you got beef with Phillip Rivers, man.
Philly Rivers.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with you though, Aether. I actually think we could get 12 wins. I think 12-5 is doable.
I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I think it is possible to get 12-5, even 13-4. Because of the way our schedule is. We got a weak schedule this year, and Harbaugh has instantly turned around every team he's been with, to ascend to that next level and stuff. So I mean, I'm just being, like I said earlier, I'm just being a little cautiously optimistic. I'm trying to keep my reservations. I don't want to
down a little bit.
Yeah. I'm expecting less, but wanting more. How about that? Yeah.
And this is a good thought here, Miguel. Why did the Baltimore Orioles let all their staff go? Should we be concerned? I think the answer is no. You got to remember, John and Jim, they're good friends, right? So I'm sure there was conversations, and they said, okay, I mean, perfect example, Joe Ortiz is not going to be the GM of the Ravens. He was not going to be a GM there. They're very happy with their GM. So a lot of these were players in positions that it was a good move for them in their career, right? Yeah. So you can't think of it as like, oh, we're getting their seconds, sloppy seconds or anything like that. It's look, well, we're going to talk about Shane Day. Shane Day, was a quarterback coach somewhere else, and he had an opportunity to come back here. He's back here now, so we'll talk more about that as well. But lateral moves do happen in the NFL as well, too, right? Yeah. And so it also gives an opportunity for these guys to get a little more leadership and a little more decision making down the road. Plus, you turn a team around that sucked like we did last year, it looks really good on your resume. You know,
Yep, very much.
Oh yeah.
Well, did you say that John and Jim are good friends? Well, I mean, they're brothers. So
they're brothers. Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of like bonded at some point.
I mean, you know,
I didn't say good friend. That was a little bit.
I mean, you know, we brothers, but we also friends too. You know,
that's right.
Yeah. So
yeah, and this is a great point. Chargers do have the 4th place schedule, guys. Our schedule next year is cupcake central, dude. It's easy. It's easy. So yeah.
And we've talked about it too. I mean, we were 1-9 in 1-score games last year. We could flip something like that pretty quickly and easy. Now, I'm not going to base the 2023 squad of the teams that we're going to play in 2024 are going to be exactly the same. You could get an idea of it, but you know, there could be one of those teams on the squad on the schedule or whatnot that could be the next Houston Texans or something like that. I mean, they were a garbage franchise to basically a playoff franchise and doing well in the playoffs. So, you know, I'm not going to necessarily say based upon what we have now and knowledge that we have now, I'm not going to base it on 2023, but for the most part, we should be able to do a very good job next season. I mean, 12 wins doesn't seem unreasonable in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
So talking about running backs here, I know Trent and Brandon brought up is Spiller going to have a bigger year next year, and then Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry. What do you guys think? Or who would I choose? I would choose Derrick Henry over Saquon. Just health issues. Bigger.
Guy, but Saquon's a younger guy, and he's got the thighs that are just massive too. That guy's a beast. I mean, both of them are workout beasts. I mean, if you've ever seen Saquon Barkley's thighs, they're freaking, I don't even know what pants he could wear, dude, because those are massive.
He's all hulked out, dude. Hulked out.
He's hulked out, dude. I mean, to me, I would probably go more for the youth side of things with Saquon, and he's a little bit more versatile as a back. And once again, don't count out Austin Eckler finding his way back here, because if you heard anything about Radio Row, there was a lot of talk that he seemed very excited about Jim Harbaugh being with the Chargers. He seemed like he wanted to find his way back.
Oh, I guess I jumped you, Kyle. Good. All right. That's cool. That's good. I'm moving up the list.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, well, I see how it is.
I'm in third. No, so you're in second place now. So I'm in third.
Okay, I'm runner up. All right, that's cool. If you're not first, you're last.
That's right.
Okay, so we can talk about Joe Ortiz here. George made it. You got to. So we just kind of read Alex's quote here. You got to be looking to make the team better. Find a player to trade deadline, make the Chargers better. Now we're going forward either way. There's multiple ways to go at it, but I think it's valuable. And look, I just think he's on the same page with Harbaugh, right? Clearly, they're going to be a good team together. I think there's a lot to be said about this, man. So, I mean, just Joe Ortiz. I mean, what rating would you give Ortiz as a GM at this moment with Harbaugh, right? Like, and in the chat, what do you guys think? A+, A, B+, B-, C-? What do you think? Well, as far as him coming through?
In the big thing in his conference and as an introduction this week, like, I mean, it's such music to my ears to be able to hear, like, continuity and having like Batman and Robin, and I'm not gonna wear tights, you know, being Robin or whatnot and stuff like that. But the idea of it,
I don't see him in tights either, man. What's up with that?
No, we're good.
Hey, if you're a dude, you should not be wearing no tights, bro. You should be wearing no tights. Come on,
no, man. You know, because when you get up to our age, you know, you got to be wearing some stretchy pants. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But the whole thing with Joe Ortiz, like, I mean, he wants exactly what Jim Harbaugh wants: fast, physical, tough type team. He wants to be able to be, hey, if you're coming to LA or we're coming to your town, we're here to knock you right on your back and punch you right in the face. Mm-hmm. And even to say this quote here too, like he even said, I'm going to make aggressive moves when I want to find a player and I get a player. I'll give up draft picks to be able to get that player. Maybe we'll only keep him for 1 year and let him go. And then guess what? We'll get a comp pick out of that if he walks away and signs somewhere else for some big contract. Right. Great. I love those picks. I mean, I think there was like Tom Telesco only had like 8 compensatory picks in his career as a GM versus like the Ravens had like 25 or something crazy like that in the last 10 plus years. Like,
Oh, that's awesome.
they like to be able to find those guys to be able to add some more juice to the team when you should. If you have a chance to get to the playoffs, a chance to get to the Super Bowl, or you're having a great run, give up some picks so you could get that player to elevate your team and make that what I call power move. And Tom Telesco always sat on his feet and he's like, well, let me find the garbage bin real quick and see some dude off the street that I could sign that's not going to push the needle at all for your team. That's what you want. You want an aggressive GM, and this is what Joe Ortiz is going to bring to this team. And I'm so excited for it.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be cool, man. I'm really excited about what attitude, culture he wants to bring to the team. Like first and foremost, because he's talking about how he wants to make people think twice about the Chargers. Don't like Harbaugh said, don't let the powder blues fool you.
Don't let the powder blues fool you.
That's right.
That's right. Miguel. Yeah. Is that a flashlight in your pants? Or you just happy to see me? I tell you what, like then Kyle over here throwing out this trouser snake comment. Goodness gracious, what's going on here?
Jeez.
Pretty
show
good.
It off.
Pretty
hey,
good.
you know what? Just show it off. It's all good.
Hey, what's up? Should be bronze. It should be bronze. What's up? Yeah, I mean,
a bronze snake.
Yeah, bronze snake. It should be bronze. It's a thing of beauty. I don't know. If you tell me.
Hey, bronze is third place though, So
no, man. Like when you bronze them, like your little baby shoes or whatever, you bronze them, and then they're like a trophy.
I don't know, man. I mean,
you know what? Okay, it's off the rails. Whatever, we get it.
Yeah.
So I do not want to see the Chiefs win the Super Bowl at all. So
no, hell no. Screw the Chiefs.
I don't want to see them be successful.
Of course,
I'm pissed off they even made it.
I think that's the reason why the reason why Anthony's probably asking that question though too, is because it's more of the situation with if he retired or if they win, will he retire on a win, or if he retires on a loss? I don't know. Like that's the whole point. If the question comes into play that Andy Reid's going to retire, So
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the questions that were up there too, there was somebody asking about free agency and trading potentially for like a O-lineman guy that's maybe on a contract year. I just don't really know if we're going to trade for a player at this point that we would have to incur more debt on. I mean, I guess I'll talk a little bit about that with like the idea of salary cap adjustments that we can make for next year. But if I do think that there's going to be a player that finds a way as a trade, we'll probably get some person probably from the Ravens, to be honest, just because they know the personnel. So I'd have to dig more into that.
Interesting also about Kendricks. I'm curious what we do. We have one more year with Kendricks. I mean, you could, let him, you wouldn't let him walk. I would try and trade him away for somebody. I mean, you could probably get a decent pick. I mean, he's still a really good linebacker, but I'd rather go youth, anyways. Yeah, I don't want to see them win anything. Man, Taylor Swift, dude. I'm done with her, dude. Right. I never liked her music to begin with.
Over and under. How many times are you going to see Taylor Swift at the dang Super Bowl?
Oh,
dude?
It's probably okay.
I'm going to say I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say 7 times at least.
Easy. Well, the rumor is
I'll take the over on. I'll take the over on 7. I was going to say like a dozen at least.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is that the NFL's gotten $300 million in additional revenue just because of her, dude.
Right.
I'm like,
crazy.
So it's a money thing. It's all about that money. Yep. Merchandising.
Yeah, that's right.
Just plain yogurt. You guys all know that movie, Spaceballs?
That's right.
Rodrigo. The Bolt Bros were raised on that movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's everyone rates Greg Roman as the OC hire? What do y'all think in the chat? A, B, C, D, F, whatever. I'm curious what everyone thinks, because I didn't want him just because I kind of want to see Herbert. But here's the thing. Getting Herbert to do all the work didn't work. We've tried that for 4 years, has not worked. And so at least this guy could come in and make a little less pressure be off of Herbert's shoulders,
right?
And make it more of a team sport. So I'm very curious what everyone thinks. And what do you guys think, bros, for sure?
Yeah. And I did a whole video on him this week, just kind of going over his stats of his offenses that he's done. Kind of early on, he had a lot of struggles with the red zone side of things, but later on, he started getting better in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, we're going to have a power-based run football team. And I kind of am like a little unsure about this one, in my opinion. I guess I'm waiting to see how it goes because he's not the best on the pass side of things. If you look statistically over the years, he's not like a pass kind of guy, but he's one of those guys that will guarantee that you will have a strong run game, which has been a big issue for us.
Well, and pass protection too, right? Because you got to keep Justin Herbert upright.
Yep. And I mean, Justin Herbert's a much different skill set than Lamar Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, Tyrod Taylor. Totally different skill set. But at the same side, you need balance to this game. I felt like with Kellen Moore last year, it was like run the ball a couple times, don't get anywhere. All right, it's all on Justin Herbert to make that 3rd and 11 throw now. Like, balance to this game will for sure be there. I expect us possibly going after like a Gus Edwards and adding him as a running back just because he's from the system.
I was going to say, I like the Gus Edwards idea.
And the big thing too, during the Jaguar game, we lost that game because we didn't have a run game. And
very true.
We had the lead. You could have just paced it out. You could have played Marty ball and just ran that ball out, and we played right into the strengths was against the pass. And so that's where I look at it as like, this is a great hire in that sense to find ways to end games late in the game. When you have the lead, you can run the ball, just run the clock down, keep the ball in your hands, and game over. Instead of Justin Herbert has to throw a miracle throw to make it happen.
Well, we all know he could do that too, though, right? But
we don't do that.
You don't want, but it's just like Jim Harbaugh said, he didn't have to be Superman, and that's one of the things. We're going to talk more about Justin Herbert as well, too. But the one thing I will say is I like the fact that it's now a team sport, right? Because we didn't have a running game ever. We were horrible running the ball the entire time Herbert's been in the NFL. So it's all been on his shoulders. So, I mean, look at the Niners, look at the Chiefs. They have running games, and if you don't have a good running game, it doesn't open up play action pass. It's a whole lot of different things, right? So, and this is a good point. Yeah, Rodrigo, he took a year off, started working on being a better coordinator. So who knows what he's been cooking. So maybe there's some things that he's looking at some of the play action stuff, maybe the pre-snap motion thing. Who knows, right? So there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I give myself, not myself. I give Greg Roman higher. Honestly, I would say an A- at the worst. I'd say. Like, I mean, I know, like, obviously his track record has been more focused on the run, but I think that's kind of what we need a little bit, because like everyone knows that we can pass 100%, but
100%.
And everyone expects us to pass. But now we have Greg Roman in the mix. Like now they might question a little bit more. Like currently right now, what our scheme's going to be as far as the run game or so like our offensive game goes. But I think the thing that I want to point out with him though too is that he took a whole year off of football to study the current game and to study some more schemes and stuff. So I think he actually. I mean, obviously, he went to like a Buddhist temple, of the NFL gods or whatever like that, and he meditated for hours on end. He was straight up Karate Kid up in here, So I think honestly, like it's gonna be a good thing because, like, I mean, he went out and he ventured into the world or whatever, like he rediscovered himself. Did some hookah with some strange, genies or something like that. He's out there, so I think he's gonna have something really different for the game now. So, just hope he doesn't like kind of slip back into like old habits or whatever at some point, So, because that's kind of what happens a lot of times. People slip into their old ways a little,
Yep. Yeah, and that's a good point. And then did Eddie get one of our hats? Kyle, did you get him a hat?
Did he? Oh yeah, I did because he won one of the the Wednesday night football things.
Got it. Okay, good.
Yeah, he got it. So and funny enough though too is like everyone that has this hat, this specific model hat, those are unique. They discontinued this specific hat, so we have a different brand hat now that we have to use for it. So these are all. Like one of ones, whatever, limited editions.
Unique. I like it.
Yeah, that's right. So anyone who got it before February, it's a unique hat.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And you're right. We need to run back like someone like a Pacheco or whatever, So there's just a lot of things. Yeah, and the running game will be a big thing. I mean, so again, you might look at this and go, whatever, but I think it'll just show that the team is committed to a balanced offense. And I think that's really what we wanted last season. It just didn't work out. Whatever we just tried. So it just didn't work.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, So eighth, I guess he's going to bring the heat. He's going to bring the heat to you, James. I guess so. Because he's not happy with you either, James.
He's not. He's going to be happy with James. He's always happy with James. Like they FaceTime every single night. You didn't know this?
That's right. Yeah. So some interesting stats though about Herbert and winning. StatMuse says there's two different stats on this. 25 and 14 with Justin Owen allowing fewer than 28 points. But then I saw this as well too. It's 22 and 6. So I'm not sure which one is fully correct. But either way, just goes to show you, dude, we had a horrible defense the entire time. Herbert's out there. He's doing all he can. And it's not all on him, man. Like the team around him has to do their job as well too. So
I mean, you just think about that stat. Like, I mean, Jesse Minter, and obviously I think is the next slide here. Jesse Minter has just got to find a way to keep it under 28 points. And you really think about that. That's not too difficult in a sense. It shouldn't be difficult to do that. But Brandon Staley's defense was just an absolute atrocious defense when it counted. Like, how many times did we see 3rd and longs where we're just like, dude, all right, you should have this 3rd and 12. You should find a way to stop. Nope, they get 14 yards.
Yep.
3rd and 4. All right, let's run the ball up the gut. No problem. We gave him 7 yards, 8 yards. Like, it's like it had no ability to shut down games. And it's always like it was an opportunistic defense to play against, essentially. Like, it was not threatening. And going to the next slide, like Jesse Minter is that guy that if you watch his defense and you watch what he's doing, like that Michigan defense is straight up beastly, like absolutely beastly. And so we're going to see a much different type team all around, physical, hard-nosed, punch you in the face type team. And we're going to find Justin Herbert and that whole stupid narrative. Oh, he's a losing quarterback. Dude, he's freaking putting this team on his back, trying to will this team to win at this point. Give him support. And really, that's what we have now. Like, we have a great support system around Justin Herbert to be able to succeed. So I can't wait.
Yeah, and so there's some discussions around clearing up cap space, trade Bosa, Mac, Fox. Wow, I don't know about Fox. Man, that seems excessive to me right there. I mean, that's like
that's 3 out of the 4.
The whole front defensive line gone.
I don't know. Michael McClain, if that's what he's suggesting, he's smoking some wacky tobacco.
Some serious Chiba, dude.
Dude. Aether, send out your comments again. I don't see what you're talking about here.
I don't see anything either.
Second string quarterback, Stick gone, probably. I don't know. I mean, look, it'd be interesting to see what happens with Stick. I'm curious.
I mean, I would like to have more of a veteran, like second QB2, bring in somebody like that has a lot of experience. I think, because I know Easton Stick does have more than Justin Herbert, but like by a year, and he hasn't really played much, so like that. I like quarterbacks that have played, but then now they're like, secondary, I guess,
Yeah, and I like the idea of trading down as well. Will we do it? Who knows? I think there's a good chance underneath Joe Ortiz just because he likes them picks, right?
Sure,
I think more picks is always a good thing.
Big time.
He likes them. As opposed to what the Rams said, F them picks.
F them picks, that's right. Yeah.
He's all about them picks.
There's a side that I think that Joe Ortiz would be into that, like just getting rid of a bunch of picks and just trying to find a way to be able to get those players to be impact players.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, that whole idea with the Rams is burning them right now, but at the same side, they still had a rebuild year and found a way to get some gems.
Exactly.
Still through the draft, late in the draft, and got to the playoffs. So it's, if you draft well, it's about just having the ability to give up some picks that other teams see as a high, importance. but get players that are impact on your team to be able to win a dang Super Bowl. So
right.
it is what it is. Like, I mean, we got a core to our team that essentially could be that way, that we decided to trade off some picks. So
yeah. I mean, maybe that's maybe that's the plan too, though. You get those comp picks, and then you trade them off. It's like, just like, okay, cool. We got all these free picks now. Let's just take a bunch of them and see what we can get for them.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and so a lot to be said about a lot of this as well too. And I mean, a lot of people talking about Bauer still. By the way, this guy, he's our passing game coordinator. It's so interesting to see how that plays out with him.
With Marcus Brady.
Marcus Brady.
Marcus Brady, like, interesting thing about him, he was an offensive coordinator with the Colts with Phillip Rivers. So he's got that offensive coordinator side to him, which I think is kind of nice, because he's going to learn a little bit from the current staff too, on to be a better offensive coordinator. So thinking of a continuity plan, that's kind of a level that he could be the next guy if we need to move on from our offensive coordinator with Greg Roman at some point. But he was also with the Eagles. He was obviously with Nick Sirianni. I mean, hey, not a bad choice here. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, it's
putting together a really nice staff. Okay, so here's the question here, James. We talked about this. We love Herbie. Well, I'll let you read it.
Yeah, we love Herbie. All the pressure on him this season. No more excuses. He has coach that has won everywhere he has been. I mean, that's true. I mean, the pressure is on Herbert at this point. He needs to be able to be the one that actually shows out and wins. And I can't imagine him not winning with, Jim Harbaugh. I mean, it's just there's too much support around him now to be able to get a balance to this offense and put him in the best situation to succeed. And so I think it's going to be interesting with Greg Roman. It's my concern is that he has a lot of mobile quarterbacks. Not saying Justin Herbert's not a mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert, if you go back to the Rose Bowl game when he won, he was a mobile quarterback in that game and willed that one to win. And so who knows? We'll see. But it's a lot of pressure is on Herbert, and I'm confident he will do well.
Yeah, I like this here too. Let Bosa go, Williams and Kendricks. I think all three of those. And well, then also Nick Williams. Of course, Nick Williams is most likely gone anyways, but or not Nick Williams. Austin Johnson. Yeah, he'll be gone as well too. And then yes, Lindsey, he is going to retire. He is done. His heart issues are apparently substantial. So
I mean, it's 99% right now, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yep. Trade Bosa, Lions, 3rd round, 6th pick, trade Mac to Seahawks, 3rd pick, 24 6th round pick. Wow, Fox. Okay, well, that kind of makes sense. It's a lot of picks, but we also still need a team, right? So,
I mean, the thing is, though, he's getting a lot of 24 picks or 2024 picks. So, I mean, once again, it's kind of that idea: are we retooling or rebuilding, or are we just trying to, really just kind of tank the season? I can't imagine that, but. I mean, you go back to some of these teams that got a lot of picks. I mean, you just take chances on a lot of back end picks, and you could get a couple hits. You could get a Puka Nacua in 5th. You could get what was it? There's somebody else that was like I was talking about that was like a 7th round pick, and he had a really long career. So if Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh knows what's going on, once again, Jim Harbaugh came from the college rankings. He knows a lot of college football players, so he can be leaned on a little bit this year for. Who's the guys that they want, basically. So I have no problem getting a ton of picks and just taking a lot of flyers on players.
Yeah, let's go attack.
So, question though too, like, so what's the connection of Marcus Brady with Jim Harbaugh? Like, was there any
at all?
So this is the kind of the interesting. Yeah. There's no real connection with him. So like that's the real interesting hire here. It's like, okay, is it a connection with Joe Ortiz instead?
Nope. I mean, it's all like he's basically was a CFL quarterback. He was basically with the Colts. He was with the Eagles. So there's no connection at all. But Jim Harbaugh talked about that. He says, hey, look, like I got a lot of guys that I know, and there's a lot of new guys that I don't know. And so you can't expect that you're always going to find the guys that
Right.
are connected one way or another to Jim Harbaugh or Joe Ortiz. Like it's just
Yeah.
that's just not possible.
Right.
But I think for him, it's like he probably had a good interview with him, and he basically felt like, hey, this guy could be a good guy to be able to lead at the quarterback side of things, or
Cool.
not the quarterback side of things, but
Right.
the passing game coordinating for this team. So,
Well, I think
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's interesting. I didn't realize that he was from the CFL
Yep.
because that's
As a quarterback. Yep.
that's actually pretty exciting then to me, because I mean that game is, I don't know if you guys have ever watched or like learned about CFL too much, but like they only have 3 downs
Yep.
in the CFL. So like it's 1, 2. If you don't get it, then get out of there. So I think they pass a lot more in that game, and that's kind of why like it's interesting too, because obviously we got history with Doug Flutie.
Yep.
Doug Flutie is the greatest quarterback to ever play this in Canadian Football League. So,
Yeah.
And why? It's because he threw the ball like all the time. Like it was just nothing but throws. So, I think if somebody knows how to like freaking pass the ball a lot, it's going to be someone from the CFL.
Yep.
For sure.
Good point.
And again, having a good running game opens up the pass. Play action pass becomes more relevant. And I mean, if play action pass doesn't work, if it's you got no running game, you got no running back, they are nervous about. But I mean, look, Jacobs, Jacobs is going to be available as well.
Yep.
I would rather have Jacobs over Barkley personally. I like Jacobs a lot.
Jacobs
probably one of the first times we get a guy that is from the Raiders first, because usually the Raiders it's our scrap. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that'd be nice if we got some Raider scraps. Maybe kind of bring them back to the light side. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You're not with those devil worshippers anymore.
Well, you mean the Swifties?
Yeah, the Swifties. There you go, the Swifties.
Yeah, that's right.
So we got the cookie guy here, right?
Yeah, Andy Bischoff is how you pronounce it. Yeah. So he's and we chatted about him. I mean, he was a high school coach for a good portion of time, but he's been coaching since '93. So, and he was also in the CFL too. So I'm wondering if there's a connection with him and CFL.
Maybe,
and also Marcus Brady,
right?
Too. And actually, I think they were on the same team at the time that Marcus Brady was playing in CFL. So there's that connection. That can be there. He was a tight ends coach, staff coordinator for the Bears for 2013, 2014. But the Ravens connection was 2015 to 2020, where he was the offensive coordinator or quality control coach, offensive assistant, and assistant tight ends coach. And then went to the Texans in 2021, and then tight ends coach for the Giants. And then now he's the tight end coach, run game coordinator. So, which he was also a running back coach in the CFL too. So basically, I mean, good little move. I think it's a good move all around. I mean, tight ends and the Giants weren't too shabby at all. I think it's going to be a good move all around. So
yeah. Oh God!
Honestly,
this picture right here. Die in a car accident for me, please.
Yes, please.
Dude, there's a bet on Vegas right now that if the Chiefs win, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift will be on field with the confetti coming down, and in the bed so they're supposed to be kissing, and then Travis Kelce is going to propose to her on field.
Oh yeah.
So,
I mean, look,
that's crazy.
Look, and then he'll retire just like his brother just did.
This is another scenario of, is the NFL rigged? Because I guarantee you the NFL wants that to happen, because like all the Swifties are just going to be so like freaking losing their mind all of a sudden that someone's finally going to lock her down. They want her on field, they want her on screen, because that's what you're gonna see. I'm gonna say this: you're gonna see a lot. You're gonna go to a lot of Super Bowl parties right this tomorrow. And you're going to see a lot of like girls you've never seen before, who've never had any interest in football. And, they're going to be like, I'm only here because of Taylor Swift. And they're going to have that gum smile, where they're smiling. And you see this freaking, double the length of her gums or whatever like that. It's just like that gummy smile, man. Like those are the Swifties. That's in my, that's always in my head about what Swifties are.
Gummy smiles, dude.
I never thought of that. That's good. Yeah, but
that's something new. That's something new.
But anyway,
gummy smiles around here.
It is interesting seeing how that's going to play out. But the good news is we got our boy back for Justin Herbert. I think it's a Herbo hire right here by
100%. It is.
Oh, well, yes, 100%. And I'm stoked on that, dude. I freaking love Shane Day, man. He was awesome.
I always think it was funny. In my mind, I always think of this footage of him at training camp running around with Justin Herbert and kind of doing these things. And I swear he was wearing like a triple XL like t-shirt running around.
Yeah,
And he
like
looks like
gigantic on him.
Yeah, he looked like a little kid running around with your cell phone. You're trying to catch him, and you just threw one of your shirts on the little kid, and he just it looks so funny. But
Yeah.
Shane Day obviously was a Herbert hire, and I love hearing this kind of stuff because at least it shows that Jim Harbaugh is probably like, hey man, we need a quarterback coach. Herbert, do you have a guy you like working with?
Yep.
Like, or is there somebody you prefer? And he went out and got Shane Day. And like, I think Shane Day should have been the offensive coordinator after we let go of Lombardi, in my opinion. And they just let him go. I feel like Shane Day got let go because of Brandon Staley. You got to think of Michael Wilhoit, who was, I think, the linebacker coach that got yelled at during the Jaguar game that got fired too. It was just kind of like, well, you got to fire a bunch of people because I got to put the blame on other people. And Shane Day was kind of one of those guys that I think just got blamed on that the offense wasn't working. So I'm glad to see that he's back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I'll say this. I think for me with Shane Day, like one of the things that I liked about him is just like, I see the training camp videos and he's like running up and down the field with him.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, he was just kind of like, still telling him stuff, like, and it's like, they had a bond, like it felt like in Herbo, like it was like, he was always laughing and like happy out there with Shane Day. It seemed like, so like, I don't know. I think it's a good thing for sure. Like I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, and you didn't even say Newsmeyer, who was his quarterback coach last year. There was some times when I see Justin Herbert talking with him and Newsmeyer sitting there talking to Herbert, and it seemed kind of, all right, dude, whatever, man. I don't believe what you're saying, like kind of thing. Like, I don't think I could really he just didn't seem like bought in by him for some reason. So I think it's good to see that Shane Day's back. Keep that continuity going. Keep him happy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's your money man, $262 million man,
That's keep him happy.
Yep.
So, James, you got another
happy
prediction from Aether here.
Bold prediction. Chargers will use QJ like Denver used Ed McCaffrey, and he has 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Ooh. Let's go. Hey, dude, like we'll probably know just before, when the new season starts, which is basically in March, kind of what we're going to expect from the wide receiving core. I mean, if you kind of know what QJ is talking about and Jim Harbaugh is chatting with him, I think QJ might come out as a much more aggressive guy as a wide receiver for us and maybe even a bigger part of this offense next year. I mean, Joshua Palmer, Keenan Allen, I think are pretty much locks. I do think that QJ could be the third guy. Mike Williams might be the guy that's going out and getting traded. So it's kind of a tough thing to be able to see where it's at, but I think QJ could have a very good year next year. Now, once again, I will say, based upon the video I did with Greg Roman, Greg Roman didn't have a lot of over 1,000-yard base receivers. He usually only kept it to about one of them as over 1,000-yard receivers. He spread the ball out quite a bit on the pass game side of things.
Okay.
Now, different quarterbacks once again that he had: Tyrod Taylor, Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith, and obviously Lamar Jackson, different quarterbacks. Yeah. But there's a possibility it could be two, wide receivers that are over 1,000, but it was very common that it was not over 1,000. Only one guy was over 1,000. So,
okay.
Yeah. Eddie, we didn't want you to get in trouble there,
Yeah. So because he's talking about the Antonio Gates news, like, and so he was out there working, cleaning the room, and then he saw it, and then he was like, "Man, probably started throwing things, whatever, like,
tossing pillows,
really fluffing them pillows, really good, start beating them, something like that,
smashing all the the shampoo bottles, So we got a new wide receiver coach.
Hey,
Sanjay Lal is his name. Yep. He's actually British. He's a British guy. I remember him from Hard Knocks Cowboys, and I was like, wow, British guy is like a coach in the NFL. That was tripping me out. But yeah, so he's a British dude. Was with the Seahawks recently, was with the Cowboys. He's kind of jumped around quite a bit in the league. And I mean, he did a good job, I think, for the Cowboys on the wide receiver side. Obviously with Seahawks, I mean, he He had a team record 3 1,000-yard seasons in that span, with 2 coming in from DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. And then Lockett just fell 6 yards shy of 900 last season, while rookie wideout Jackson Smith-Njigba did 628 yards of 63 receptions. So I think all around, I think it's a good hiring to be able to kind of really, really give a little bit more growth for younger guys. And this could be kind of more something to develop QJ a little bit more too. So
I agree. Yeah. And QJ, just so you guys know, I watched a lot of this, and Trent, the reason why I highlighted this is his route running struggles. He definitely tips his routes a lot. There are certain routes he just does not run well. And, you know, it's like, bro, like, you know, you just knew he was doing a dig or just a go route because he just put his head down and just ran as hard as he could. And he wouldn't stop. And he didn't do in the NFL what you need to do to confuse the cornerback, right? He did not do it. And so he needs to take a good hard look and figure out how to improve his game. And so hopefully this guy will get him where he needs to be, because he's got the talent. He's got the talent.
And the one thing with QJ I observed a lot, I felt like he didn't get very good off the line, or he didn't understand snap counts or something to that effect. I felt like he always was this fraction of a second off from when the ball snapped and him running his route. I don't think he did a very good job of that. So that's something I'm going to observe with him next season. I expect QJ to have a much more bounce back based season. I don't think Tom Telesco probably got him and said, hey, guess what? There's 3 guys in front of you. We don't need you right now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll need you a year from now or whatever it is. So QJ probably thought, well, I'll just try to absorb whatever I can. I mean, they don't need me, kind of thing, which is kind of jacked up. I mean, you draft a guy to be able to be an impact player right then and there for a reason. Like, get him involved. So stupid, but I hate it. That's the thing I hated about Telesco, and I don't anticipate that at all with Joe Ortiz. I mean, he talked mostly about it like it's about getting a guy that can play a role for your team now. That's what you want to do. That's what you should do as a GM.
Yep. I like that. 400 yards rushing, 4,500 yards passing. There you go. This for you, Kyle, from Aether here.
If you
Kyle, dude, you're gonna be all over you, dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna ride me like a sweet muffin. I don't know. Yeah,
he's all over you like ugly on an ape, dude.
Oh, dang! I really made him mad. I mean, he's from Michigan, right? So, like, I guess
good point. Good point.
Yeah, because Harbaugh really is his coach, So yeah. But hey, it's all good, Aether. Hey, what's the over under on Justin Jefferson coming to the Chargers? Because you're gonna owe me $200. You still
$200. Woo!
Yeah, you know what?
Ready?
Yeah.
You know what? I had a little bit of a scenario about that possibly happening, to where there's a trade with the Chargers. You think about it, dude. Think about it.
Okay.
We got some players we could trade. We could find a way to be able to get Justin Jefferson over here. Hey, I think that bet's still going, guys. I think that bet's still going.
It's still going until the season starts. That's it. So
he did say he wanted to break the bank. And by the way, the Chargers got a ton of cap space for 2025.
And they really could just move some people around for this 1 year, and they'll be fine next year. So
yeah.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And what was the bet again? That Justin Jefferson was coming to the Chargers? That's what it was?
Yeah. So the bet is that Justin Jefferson will be with the Chargers before the season starts.
Oh, okay.
So in 2024.
2024?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not forever. In perpetuity, that'd be terrible. Come on, now.
Perpetuity.
I ain't taking that bet.
To say too. Perpetuity. I don't know why it sounds fun. Interesting offseason. Yes. I tell you what, man, it really will be. I'm curious to see how this offseason plays out, man. It's gonna be crazy. I think this might be our last slide. No, we got well more here. Here we go. Yeah, we got the whole Minter situation here. Guys, okay. What do you guys think about Minter, man? I tell you what. And Chad Alexander, assistant general manager. That's an interesting one. I thought we were going to keep JoJo Wooden, but that was interesting.
He's going to the Raiders. So JoJo to the Raiders.
He's going to the Raiders?
Yep.
Oh, man.
He's going to the Raiders. I mean, once again, like, the Raiders are this team that always loves to take ex-Chargers in some way or another. And, it's funny. But at the same side, we're doing that with ex-Ravens, essentially. So basically, like with Alexander, he's going to be a good fit. He been a guy that was with the Jets, was obviously with Joe Ortiz at the Ravens, so he knows them very well. Krawick. I can't never say that dude's last name.
Yeah, Krawick,
Interesting
yeah.
thing. He was an analytics guy in the NHL too. So like he's a
Yep.
multi-sport type analytics guy. And it's cool to be able to see that we got an analytics dude that's going to be able to really just put this team in the right situations versus Brandon Staley talking about the analytics all the time. And those analytics basically failed him almost all the time. So crazy. But
yeah. Well, the one thing I'll say too is you're going to see a very press man, just nasty defense with Jesse Minter. Very, very basic, right? You're not going to see, Brandon Staley had this press man, this pattern match, just garbage that looked good on a whiteboard, but didn't really work well on the field. So it's going to be old school football with him, which I think is a good thing. And I think again, remember guys, after Staley was fired, the last 3 games, we only gave up 17 points. Yep. If we had just done that, we would have been 4th best defense in the league prior to that. So we had the talent. We just had a crappy scheme. And so this is partially why I'm thinking we could win more games this year, because we were 1-9 in 1-score games. If we could get our defense going better with Jesse Minter, we already know we have the guys.
Yep.
We're going to turn that to 9-1. I think we can easily end up with 12 to 13 wins. So,
and some people have these like hangups about Jesse Minter. Can it translate over to the NFL from college? Yep. And you could obviously think that, like you could definitely think that, but I think he's got a staff around him that's going to really find a way to be able to make this defense work out really well. Bottom line, the big thing about the defense that Brandon Staley was running, we couldn't freaking tackle anybody. We couldn't tackle anybody. We were not fundamentally sound as a defense at all.
Terrible.
Not very diligent as a defense. Like very much kind of a mess as a defense. And one thing I love about Jesse Minter's defense, if you watch the defensive line, which we obviously got the defensive line coach from Michigan too, that defensive line is awesome. Like they do a great job of running stunts to be able to allow players to be able to be in the right position to allow a player to make a play. And what I mean by that is they'll do a stunt where essentially they'll just create a bundle of players with allowing a big gap for like a linebacker to be able to come in. It's a lot of 4-man, 5-man base rushes. And it's exciting. I can't wait to see Jesse Minter's defense. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And I'm so glad that we got the defensive line coach. For some reason, his name is out of my mind right now. I can't remember what it is, but it's not coming to mind at this point. But your continuity of that defense is coming to this team. And we get the Michigan defense, it's going to be straight up dogs. Like I cannot wait to watch it.
No, it's going to be good for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And Eddie, you're right. He's not going to trade him somewhere in the division. It'd be someone on the NFC side, right? You're not going to trade him someone in our division. No way.
I don't know. I mean, I think that was all. See, I think here's the thing. I think maybe Tom Telesco, maybe he was secretly a Raiders fan the entire time. That's why like all of our Chargers players got dumped to the Raiders after the fact, Yeah. So that's probably why he got in to the Raiders so quick, So he was like, you know what? He was always just trying to funnel players to the Raiders the whole time.
Dude, you hear that quote that Mark Davis said? He said something about like the Chiefs and the Niners are like his two or some of his favorite teams. I'm like,
what an idiot. Yeah, those are your rivals. You're like, what are you doing?
I think maybe he said that because they're playing in his Super Bowl and like maybe like they're getting a ton of money for the team playing at the Super Bowl.
That's probably right.
That's probably why they are his favorite team right now, because they just made him very rich, probably, even more rich.
Well, hey, get him a freaking haircut. His hair looks absolutely stupid.
Right?
He looks
get him a new barber, please.
I mean, come on, dude. Like, I look at this guy, I'm like, bro, like, dude, you need to fire your barber. Doesn't he pay like a ton of money for that too? I don't think he does.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, hey, he can pay me like $100, and I'll just put a bowl on his head and just kind of cut everything around.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Actually, we should do a funny video actually about if NFL owners were going to be in a fight, who would win? So like
that would be pretty good.
We'll do like a battle royale, like a kind of a bracket on it, that'd be really funny.
Well, and guys, Kyle was having this idea. We were thinking about doing some sort of, I don't know if you guys know The Onion, but The Onion does these kind of like funny videos, but they're fake. It's total fake news, but they're just hilarious. Like, So we're thinking about doing that with NFL teams. Like the Raiders are going to get a hotel, put on right next to the stadium, so it kind of looks like a toilet bowl. And so we're thinking about doing all this and that. So we're thinking about doing these funny little videos. Would you guys like to see that with us doing that with the other teams in the NFL? Because I think it'd be pretty hilarious. So,
hey, by the way, hot off the press, Chargers
hot off
did
the press.
actually.
Oh.
Little buttons, you know what I'm saying? Let's go.
There we go.
Hey,
Off the waiver.
Chargers get another coach from Michigan, Steve Click Scale. I think it's a Clink Scale.
Click Scale.
Clink Scale is his name. He was the co-defensive coordinator, defensive coach, is now coming to the Chargers too. So once again, adding another piece from Michigan to this team, and was a co-defensive coordinator. I think that's an awesome move because once again, if Jesse Minter kills it next year, he's probably going to go as a head coach somewhere else. Continuity plan is what you need to put in place.
Big time.
And you're putting in basically Clink Scale as a guy that could be that next dude to be able to have that same defense running. So
here it is.
Love to be able to see it. I can share it right now if you want to too.
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Yeah, we got people asking for the source, man. It's like, oh, what's the source? What's the source?
It's the Onion.
From the Onion. Okay, cool.
The Onion, dude.
That's real. That's real.
So this is on Detroit News. So it's about as close as you could possibly get, and this was actually just about 4 hours ago that it was announced, basically. So Michigan co-defensive coordinator, defensive coach Steve Clinkscale, who was initially thought to be heading to the NFL, but then appeared to be staying, will be coaching in the NFL. So Jim Harbaugh has brought him onto the staff. So he is here. He's going to be another guy that we're going to be adding to this team for the coaching side. I wonder who the defensive back coach is. So I wonder if he might be more involved in the defensive back and possibly a co-defensive coordinator.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Be very interesting.
So
yeah, I tell you guys, it's
Los Angeles Wolverines, man.
The LA Wolverines. I like that. Yeah. Dude, I love the Michigan Wolverines helmets and their uniforms last year. They look pretty good. Okay, so we can talk a little about draft. You guys, Alt or Bowers? Probably Alt, in my opinion. I also want to see us re-sign Everett. I think Everett is definitely a Harbaugh guy. You could probably get him pretty cheap. And Bowers is pretty good though too, bro. Bowers is freaking good. Who knows? But I get worried about drafting a tight end that early in the draft too, right?
That's where the trade back makes sense. Like if you got Bowers at 9 or 10 or something like that would be like, all right, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I did a kind of a trade scenario already, just like my own little mock draft, personal one or whatever. And and I traded with the Saints and I got a couple more picks. And the Saints, I traded our first for their 14th and I still was able to get Bowers. So it's still possible to get Bowers like that deep. I just don't know if tight ends are very often picked first round though. So
I mean, you got to think a lot of the tight ends that are out there playing this weekend. It's Kittle was a little bit later round pick. And then also to say Kelsey was like a 5th round pick, I believe it was. Right. So, I mean, you could find guys late in the draft that actually do an extremely good job. I mean, but it's interesting when they start throwing out that Brock Bowers is generational. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you start thinking maybe that makes sense at 5, but I mean, you can think about Kyle Pitts. Like Kyle Pitts was like a 5th or 6th pick. Hasn't panned out for the Falcons. Now, once again, what if you get Kyle Pitts in a trade with Khalil Mack and then you get like a back end, draft pick? I mean, I'm just saying you could.
Yeah, because you could get what they got the 8th pick. They get a QB. We trade away Mack. Then they give us like a 2nd and maybe a 4th or something like that. Woo!
I expect a lot more wheeling and dealing with this team this year. Just trying to get even these guys with once again, they maybe only have 1 year left of their rookie contract, or guys with 1 year left of their contract. That kind of makes sense. Like, I really, really, truly feel that's a good chance that we're going to see a lot more of that. I mean, instead of Tom Telesco sitting on his freaking fanny doing jack, that's so annoying, man. So I really expect a big difference from this team this year on bottom line, just making deals and wheeling and dealing. So Rivers Lake, what up, brother?
Hey, it's pretty cool though. Like I didn't realize, but we can actually see comments from Twitter now. Like on here.
Cool.
Like
for a long time, X, bro.
Yeah.
It's called X.
No, X, sucker.
Okay, whatever. It's still twitter.com. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, so,
Because I mean, when you send out a tweet,
if you type x.com, you're gonna get something. I don't know if you probably should look. It's not safe for work. Don't do x.com. It's
it is not safe for work. I was like, whoa,
probably
I'm getting some weird stuff on X.
When you send out a message on Twitter or X, is it called X or is it called a tweet still?
Man,
X's. It's I send a message on
X
to my X's. Yeah,
I'm gonna send out my X, dude.
Yeah. I think it's still Twitter to me. Yeah, so
yeah, it's got to be.
Oh boy, we're getting all kinds of those little Rivers Lake Yacht Club comments. Boy, they just kind of
it's good
flooding the chat there.
Good.
Yeah. So the Kobe Bryant statue is kind of interesting. Yeah. Good to see you, Eddie. Got to get back to work, my dude. So
it's really cool actually. Kobe Bryant's gonna have 3 statues out here in LA, so it's gonna be pretty sweet. There's the one with him wearing the 8, one with him wearing the 24, and then one with him and Gigi. So
cool.
Cool. Very cool.
To kind of immortalize him a little bit, you know. So yeah.
Well, you know, that's such a travesty, right? Oh, this would be great. Get the Vikings 5th, and next year Chargers get 11th, 2nd, 5th is. Ooh, boy, that'd be sick, dude.
That'd be big.
Well, you know, I mean, I think that 5th pick is good. I mean, there's going to be some, there'll be a quarterback available. I could see that happening, and dude, we'd be fine. I mean, I think it would be awesome. I mean, I'm cool with trading with the Vikings as well. Vikings also like the Falcons, you know, or. So, you know, I'm okay with that as well, too. So, yeah.
Yes. Honestly, I've never liked, I don't like the flat bill hat things like for myself. Cause like, I don't have like a fat head. I got a, like a, you know, it's, you know, cause like, I feel like if you have the flat bill, you got to have a fat head, you know, it's like that, you know, it's more wide or whatever. Mine's more long, I guess, you know? So yeah.
You got long head, not a fat head. Okay, guys.
That's right.
2nd and 3rd. No, but you know, guys, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways they can go with the draft. I think, you know, it'll be very interesting to see who we trade away. I mean, if we trade away Mike Williams, then there's probably a good chance we go out for a wide receiver. I think they probably will trade him away anyways. But you never know. We could get somebody in free agency. A lot of people are talking about T. Higgins as well, right? I don't know that he'd come here. He's wanting a lot of money, I hear. You know, he's wanting a lot of money. So So we'll see how that all plays out. But, you know, again, a lot of people say, well, you know, the salary cap's a myth and you could just kind of rob Peter to pay Paul. And we got a lot of money.
True.
A lot of money available in 2025. So if you could just make the numbers work in 2024, you could probably run it back again if you had to.
Yep.
But, you know, we'll see.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that we could sign players under the cap, and there is a scenario we could make a pretty good little chunk of money for cap that we could spend this upcoming season. That you could put a lot of money into 2025 too. I mean, that's essentially kind of what Tom Telesco did to this year and kind of screwed us in 2024.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, the thing is, we'll know a lot about this team very soon. As the season starts to end, as the combine starts happening, you're going to start hearing about this guy's going to get cut, this guy's going to get potentially traded. All these different things are going to happen. So it's going to be a lot of good stuff all around. Oh, Jim Harbaugh's burner. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, Jim Harbaugh in the house. Let's go.
Yeah,
that's right. Hey, so Aether's trading you away to the Broncos for a bag of chips and a Gatorade.
And a Gatorade. Man.
What flavor of Gatorade though? We talking with the white
orange?
One? What's that one?
White
orange.
Yeah.
You say orange? Oh
There's
man,
an orange one. There's an orange one because I mean
that's
all the Broncos have over there, dude. Orange.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Not the orange one ain't bad. Yeah, the white one. The white one, dude. The white one.
I like the icy one. I like that
blue
icy
one. The blue one.
The blue one's the worst. I feel like, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
I don't taste like. Always tastes like medicine. No, the grape. The purple one's the worst.
That one's bad. That
one tastes like medicine, man.
Ooh, I like that, Trent. 2025.
Let's go,
dude, guys. I mean, look, like I think we're, you know. Oh, and Aether's all about the red. But that red.
Get that red 40. I think that red 40. You know, that's why he's so angry with me. Really, it's like
that makes me so angry, dude. You know that? Hey, you gotta avoid that red, bro.
I love how the chat was talking about Gatorade now, dude. You know the thing about it is like those like brighter color like ones. You get like, red lips sometimes or red teeth because of all the dye in there. It's like,
right.
man, it's kind of bad, man.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, like, like when we were doing our Wednesday show, we were just talking about who we can hook up with Justin Herbert that would equal the Travis Kelce energy, like that Swifty energy, so
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, like we figured it out though. It's not hooking up Justin Herbert. It's doing Quentin Johnston. It's gonna hook up with Kylie Jenner. That's gonna be the move.
Here we go.
Kylie Jenner, dude.
Yeah. There's so many people like they're all hyped about her still. Like I mean, she's a multi-billionaire, like at 25 or something.
They love their athletes, dude. They love their athletes.
Yeah, that's
right. So Aether got a new girlfriend, I guess, huh?
Dude, he's always looking around for the girlfriend. I mean, he wants
Aether on
Patrick,
the prowl,
Patrick
dude.
Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes is his new girlfriend.
I thought he got married last year. What the heck's going on?
No, man. Aether's
Aether
out there
can't get held down, dude.
Oh man.
He wants Brittany Mahomes, dude. He's trying to take away Brittany from Mahomes, dude.
Hey.
So I got this from Christmas for my bro, dude. I got that dog with me. Costco dog. You know what I mean?
That dog with me. Right. Let's go, dude.
Well, maybe we should wrap up. The wheels are falling off the tracks right now. The train is, getting a little
like that's every one of our shows, though. We're always just all over the place. But hey,
the Adderall is wearing off, guys.
Exactly.
Off, so
you got ADD and you like the Chargers. Yep. This is your show. This is your
show. Baby. This is it, baby.
That's right.
Well, I'll start, and then we'll pass to maybe Kyle, and then maybe James here. Yep. So I'll just say this, folks. Like, hey, look, this coaching staff is awesome. I love what they're doing. Every hire makes sense. Look, bottom line, we just got to go execute. Look, just got to go execute. And I think we're going to be fine, right? And look, we got the talent. I think they're going to put together a really good team. We're going to be some dogs, man. We're going to be some dogs. I got that dog in me. And everyone on the team is going to have that as well, too. So, they're going to have that dog in them. You know what I'm saying?
I like your sweater right now says, I got hat, bro. That's like I got hat.
I got hat.
It's a little broken English there, dude. Like, what do you mean by that?
That's cool. Leave it alone.
I got hat, bro.
I got hat. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, well, Kyle, then maybe James, and we'll just wrap her up.
Yeah. So I mean, like, look, we got some good like Chargers coaches coming back. It's great to see the Shane Days back with the Chargers. Like, hopefully it's going to help out Justin Herbert a ton. I'm really I think we actually got a really awesome staff of quarterback type centered people. So like the passing game cornerback coach and Shane Day. It's going to be good. But then also getting Greg Roman is going to make people question a little bit, with the run game. It's really going to actually bring a whole lot of three-dimensional chess. We're playing 3D chess now, I think, with our team because of like the kind of a different group that we have now. Like it's going to be really interesting. I'm super stoked to see what we do. Like, and I want to see what Greg Roman learned in his year off sabbatical in the NFL Buddhist monk temples, and he's gonna just constantly meditating about like, what's going on, like I think we should do a little video on that at some point, so
no doubt.
But you know what, I'm just to make Aether mad, I'm still sticking with my 10-7 right now, because Phillip Rivers agrees with me. So, if he got beef with me, he got beef with Phillip Rivers, But like I said, I'm just trying to manage my expectations because I got let down so hard last year because of Brandon Staley, the defensive guru faker, So, yeah, man. But it's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good season. We're gonna make the playoffs next year. I can guarantee that, though.
Yeah.
So,
hey, and that's the goal, right? That's the goal to at least get a ticket to the show, right?
Hey guys, what's everyone's predictions, record prediction in the chat as well too? Yeah. I'm just curious what everyone thinks right now.
Throw it out there right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess my final thoughts too, man. And once again, guys, I love hearing you guys saying that you guys like the content that we do here. Mm-hmm. We try to keep it fun, keep it relaxed, and we want to engage you. And that's really why we're putting this podcast together. Because as us brothers, I mean, we sit there and just talk about Chargers football anyways. Like, so we might as well make a platform out of it. And so we're here to connect with all of you guys. And we love seeing you guys when we go to the games and everything too, and talking to you guys too. Like Fisherman says 10-7. But bottom line, this offseason is going to be very fun, and I'm loving what we're doing so far with the coaching staff. We got a lot of good pieces that are guys from the past with Jim Harbaugh and that's had long relationships with them. And we're also getting some guys and new blood into the system too, to be able to really, just try to grow out some new pieces with Jim Harbaugh's idea and philosophy, because it's exciting. It's exciting to see that the Spanoses are spending money and letting Jim Harbaugh get who he wants. I mean, when we start seeing the numbers for the staff, even to say Ben Herbert being another guy that they threw money at.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
$2 million a year, probably $2 million a year.
Probably $2 million a year for this guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you're getting an owner now that is really changing the narrative all around for this team. And so in the offseason right now, we're killing it. We are killing it right now in the offseason. Regular season, this will all come together, and I cannot wait to see this team just get rid of that stupid narrative of that charging business and just be that team that we just punch you in the mouth. And like, we find a way to play our game versus you be the pacemaker, and we got to find a way to be able to get to your pace. So I'm so excited to be able to see a whole new level of the Chargers for 2024, man. It's going to be awesome. Cannot wait.
So the other team's going to have a pacemaker?
Pacemakers,
like a fake heart, dude?
Yeah, they're going to have a fake heart, dude.
Yeah, no, like, because the Chargers are going to set the pace for the team, Yeah, so, yeah.
And I like that, dude. I like that. 13-4. I'm down with that. I'm 15-2. Down with that. 11-6. Down with that. Dude, it's gonna be sick, man. We're gonna donkey punch them hoes. It's gonna be sick. Yes, and we are gonna have a draft party. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that's happening 100%. We're gonna go live. We're gonna do the whole thing, the whole shebang.
100%.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
So we'll go live as much as we can.
And I'm hoping the draft is going to happen at the new training facility, like for fans to show up, and I'm gonna be there.
That would be cool.
That would be sick, dude. Actually, if that happens, we'll probably have to go live there. I'll fly out for that. That'd be good.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think actually that week when the NFL draft's happening, I think I might be in Mexico. Actually,
Mexico.
Yeah, we got that's the 20.
What are you doing in Mexico, man? Hey,
we got this all-inclusive resort over near Tulum, dude. So we're gonna go over there and hang out for a week.
Y'all about to be some mules out there too,
That's right, dude. That's right.
Shove something up,
Yeah, so the NFL draft's the 25th to the 27th. I think actually that's literally when I'm going to be out there. So,
dang.
So either which way, I'll be watching.
Okay. Well, we'll make it happen. Hey, we are gonna make that happen for sure. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. We're definitely we'll go live for sure. So, all right, folks. Well, we are the Bolt Bros, as you know.
That's right.
Again, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. As always, let's go.
Let's go.